Welcome back to the Unscheduled Podcast for episode 26. Today, I will be your host, and I will be joined by El Más Chingón, mi favorito, and an educated man in the form of Zach.
And I guess I'm here now as I don't even know how to follow up that intro. Like, how do you follow that up?
You take it on the chin. You are El Más Chingón. What can you really say?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hi guys. It's a new episode. It's me, Zach. I'm here, and I'm here with Javi, per usual.
Yes, sir.
Wow, has it been one hell of a year? Wow.
Yeah,
I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. So I was talking with Javi about this episode, and we were like, you know what? Let's just do a recap of this year, because it's been one hell of a year.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Looking back at this, we're trying to puzzle everything that happened this year, pop culturally.
Yeah.
And figuring out what the hell happened and what is it that we've seen happen and not happen this year.
Yeah, time just seemed to not exist because at the same time, this year felt very long due to, just to get it out of the way, because of the coronavirus and stuff like that.
Right.
It also felt very short because at the same time we were enduring the quarantine and all that kind of stuff. And, just constantly just everyone really collectively was just trying to make it by and really do their best to just, survive in a way. So it's interesting in that way because it felt really suppressed, but all at the same time, it was very excruciating at times as well.
I can definitely say it. I think, and I feel like a lot of people can say this too, a little tired of my own house.
Yeah, I definitely it's really interesting because I think one thing that I think is definitely been interesting is that I've been conditioned to have a kind of fight or flight reaction to people not wearing masks and seeing videos of pre-pandemic stuff happening. I'm just wondering why are those kids not wearing masks?
I get that. I 100% get that. Me and my dad during the early portions of the pandemic when things were just starting to shut down, we went to a restaurant and they were showing a soccer match on TV, and we were just ripping on the match because it's look at the people in the stands. I can't believe they actually let people in the stands. And then I can't believe people aren't wearing masks. And then the match ends and it shows that it was a YouTube video from 2007, and we're just oh wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a blemish that's gonna be an idea that's gonna be tattooed on my mind, I think, basically for the rest of my life, is the idea of the masks and people not wearing them when they're sick, really,
not until this is under. Yeah, this is not going to end until this is really under control, and this is the new reality. But
kind of going back,
there was once a time before Corona that was still part of this year.
Yes, believe it or not, Corona was just a very painful DLC that was added this year. It wasn't part of the main package we were supposed to get, but it turned out that it just may not turn out to be the main story. So
yeah, no kidding. So if you guys want to remember what there was pre-COVID, let's just start you off with this. And we legit looked this up right before recording, and it threw us off so bad. The Sonic movie released this year.
Yeah.
That's how we started this year, with the Sonic movie. Take that as you will.
Yeah, I remember the jokes about how it was going to be released on Valentine's Day and stuff like that. Imagine taking your girlfriend to fucking see Sonic and stuff like that. And it was just really enjoyable. And I remember I enjoyed those simpler times.
I still haven't gone to go see that movie, but yeah, the fact that Sonic started out this year, essentially, because I don't even remember what was January, if there was anything massively pop culture. If you guys have anything to contribute to this discussion, please leave it in the comments below, because we barely remember what happened this year. My timeline is in terms of video games. That's how I started keeping track of everything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. So so this is one of the first big things that I realized happened this year, and that we're trying to keep together now.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, and I was talking to you about this. So like I said, most of my stuff is going to be gaming. There is going to be a couple other things here and there. We had Animal Crossing get released in March, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah, it was released in March.
It was delayed. It was delayed from last year, which everyone was bitching and moaning about. Let's be clear about this.
Yeah,
Animal Crossing
there's no denying
community, the Animal Crossing community bitched and moaned about this when, and I remember I was laughing at it because me and the Final Fantasy VII community just heard that we got another delay, and we were like, we've been waiting 5 years. You guys only got pushed back maybe 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so Animal Crossing gets released. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, was Final Fantasy or no? Did you say wait? Did development start in 2015 or was it supposed to come out in 2015?
No. It was announced in 2015.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Wow.
It was announced in 2015, and we didn't get it till 2020.
Yeah, that's some hardcore edging. Let me just say that. That is interesting. Oh.
So we heard that for like Animal Crossing fans, and we're just like, huh, 5 months. Oh, that's cute.
Oh boy.
But anyway, over fanning aside, Animal Crossing hit into the gaming pool and just created massive waves because and it honestly helped them. It really helped them that the fact that the pandemic hit, and then the same time everything was starting to shut down, Animal Crossing release, people picked it up. It was flying off the shelves.
Absolutely.
No joke. That was in essential almost every Switch, I would say, had a copy of Animal Crossing with it.
Absolutely. I don't think it would be exaggeration to say that this almost matches Wii Sports for the Wii in that kind of sense of that kind of inseparability.
Oh yeah.
It is probably very rare to see, especially younger users of the Switch not have Animal Crossing. That would be very strange to me because it is circulated so well, and its impact is gonna be felt because not only did it release very strongly with some good content, but they're constantly rolling out new content throughout the seasons, stuff like that. So that Animal Crossing is going to be pretty relevant for a while, I feel like.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, let's just look at the fact of it had the most absolute perfect storm of events. You had people retreating to their houses, wanting some experience of the outside world, while also having full control of what they do. And Animal Crossing was essentially met that demand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Animal Crossing really allowed people to get that sense of adventure and sort of that sense of discovering new things vicariously,
right,
by not having to go outside. So I mean, honestly, it was overall a net good. I mean, obviously there was that discourse about people the usual weirdos who are saying there's not enough content in Animal Crossing. It's just
right.
It's a game that you play day by day. At least that's the way I play it.
I was gonna say it's not that it didn't have its controversies though. There was the whole Nookazon controversy, and then the whole net spiking of people trying to get certain characters or items, and then just asking for a ridiculous amount of real world money. Keep in mind for it.
Yes, that was very strange to me. Not even in-game currency. People were trading money that they had beyond what they already spent on the game, on getting a character in their on their island, which I thought was very strange, very very abnormal behavior. But I'm not here to judge. But
for me, I just then there was the whole I don't know about it, but there's the whole Raymond hate about it, and I'm just okay.
Oh, it's interesting. I believe he was the new character added to this.
Right, he was one of the new characters, to what I know.
Yeah, I think that's probably what led to a lot of hate, was because oh, look at this cute new character. I definitely want him on the island. And people are like, oh, but he's super overrated. He's just a cat that wears a suit, and it's but okay, what does that matter? Oh man. But I think we actually touched upon Animal Crossing in a previous episode of the podcast, I believe, with our guest Astrid, I'm pretty sure.
Right, yeah. If you want to, you could probably go back and listen to one of the episodes with her, and I think we touched it. I don't even know which one at this point.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, there was just still so much more, like, and that was just Animal Crossing. So and then, you know, after Animal Crossing, we had, like, shortly after, in April, we had the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game 5 years, at least in the announcement, ready to come out in the making. I don't even know how much they were making beforehand, like, before that at all.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Like, what I'm assuming is that they had very little, and that they just knew that they were going to make the game. Like, that's what I think, maybe. But, like, who knows actually what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it's not something you really considered at the time of, like, it was more like, yes, this game is out. And keep in mind, this was, I think, on record, one of the biggest games ever. Like, and not like, I don't mean like selling and being huge. I'm saying more of the fact of, like, it was a physically large game. Like, it is one of the biggest games, because it's 100 gigabytes.
Yeah, I was about to say
without exaggeration.
I literally got the remake version. Not like, when was it? It was like last week, I think.
Yeah.
And
at the time of this recording, yeah.
I looked at the back of it, and it said, like, well, first off, I just say it comes with 2 discs. One is like the data disc, I guess, and you put that in first.
Right.
And then you put in the disc that has the actual game on it, and that's all 100 gigabytes. And then keep in mind, I think I don't think we've mentioned it yet on the podcast. This is just the first part of the game. It's not actually the entire story.
Yeah, see,
Final Fantasy VII.
Right, and see, that's the thing about it. It was like, that's the part to me where I was just like, I looked at it and I'm like, if they ever do a supercut of this game, you're going to need so much space to do it, because there are 2 more parts planned for this.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if they ever release like a collection of like the 3 parts together, you basically, almost in a way, you have to have like a whole separate system for it in a sense.
Like, yeah. I get that. And, you know, the other part to me that's really interesting is, like, the original Final Fantasy VII was 3 discs back in the day, because you had to have it at 1 disc per chapter.
That's really interesting to me. I actually didn't know that until I got the original Final Fantasy VII for Steam. I didn't know that the original one was actually formatted that way, which was really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's just how it is, really.
Yeah, so I guess they're, like, paying tradition by making it so huge, like having it on 3 separate, like, parts. That's pretty funny to me, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it be. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, no kidding.
But after that, you know, that game launched pretty well. Like, there has not been much I can say about it. Of just, like, that was very well. And then after that, let's see. Around that time in May, what happened in May?
May, interesting. Huh.
Like, it's still a blur of what we're all trying to remember right now, because
yeah,
it's been a weirdness of nothing happening and everything happening. Let's see. I think, when was, let me take a look at this, and you guys are gonna hear my loud keyboard in the background for this. let me see when this came out, because I want to see when this. No, okay, that came out a little bit later, so I'll hold off on this. But let me think. May. I know around that time, so this is, you know, not to essentially not stop beating a dead horse. Anthem had its own shit show during all of 2020, like from March to August. I want to say they went through like 3 project managers, I think, and you know, that completely like totally, it just said how bad how bad like Anthem really was.
Oh yeah.
I got something in terms of the video game timeline, and this is going back all the way back to March again.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's right, because this was only a week after. This was only a week after I think Animal Crossing came out. We had Min Min added to Smash.
Oh yeah, that was that early?
Yeah, it was in March.
Wow. Okay. I generally I okay. So obviously I knew that happened this year, but I didn't know it happened like in March actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, can I just say like one thing about 2020 was that like I actually didn't play as much Smash as I thought I would, to be honest.
No, I agree. I agree.
I think part of that is because I actually kind of agree with Sakurai in saying that like for me, Smash is definitely a party game because like I do like playing Smash by myself against like the CPUs and like spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely enhanced by the fact by playing with other people. I think Smash is definitely designed to be played with other people, in my opinion.
No, so. I totally get that. I think for me what it is is that like Smash, the problem that I didn't play more this year is just Nintendo Online is garbage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have Nintendo Online and I still don't even really use it that much, to be honest with you.
No. Like Nintendo Online, like the service is fine because you know we get video games, we get like a bunch of free retro games. That's totally fine with me. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying more of just like the actual internet service itself is complete and utter garbage.
Yeah.
Because if you try playing online, the lag is so bad.
Ugh. Yeah, no. I like I barely play like online like multiplayer just to begin with, but I couldn't imagine playing it on Switch, to be honest. Like that just doesn't sound like something worth doing. Like, at least.
No, go ahead.
I think the only times I really do it is when I'm doing the raids with people on Pokemon Shield, but that's really it. Like I barely do anything else in terms of like the actual like online like connection. Like I don't really do anything else with it.
Actually, speaking of Pokemon, when were those DLCs released?
Ooh, let me look that up actually. Okay, so Isle of Armor released.
Because I know those both released this year. That's the part that's weirdest to me.
That released in June. Isle of Armor released in June.
So it was slightly... Okay, so I'm not really sure if May had anything too impactful then in terms of pop culture. And, you know, I could totally be wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, I also can't really find anything for May either. I guess May was just like a black void of like stuff happening in terms of like,
I'm trying to think like I know what would happen, like what happened during May for me personally, but yeah, but like in terms of pop culture, I'm not sure. Like I'm trying to base my timeline on everything and I just cannot. I don't really know, I guess is the best way to put it, because like I mean I'm not much for like celebs movies and anime and stuff anyway. Like I'm not much for celebs and movies and stuff like outside of it. Like I enjoy a movie when I can watch it, but I'm not someone who follows actors or people or other stuff outside of it. But you know what, that being said, when were the Oscars?
The Oscars happened in February, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so going back to that, once again, let's rewind. We had the Oscars then with Parasite sweeping the board.
Yeah, they got the most Oscars, and they also won Best Picture, which was a really big deal.
Right.
Because they were the first non-English language film to do so, which was really interesting. I think that sets a really interesting precedent for foreign language films to win more often here. And honestly, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it because, like, it's how the Oscars sells itself is that it's supposed to be for all films, not just, you know, American films. But, you know, I digress. That's getting into a whole... We can do an entirely different episode on that altogether.
Yeah.
But, like, I can't... Like, it's just so much... May just must have not been that memorable to me. Like, it just must have been a regular month to me.
Yeah. I personally can't think of anything that happened in May in particular. Like before May, obviously, Persona 5 The Royal came out in March as well, which was really interesting. Um, which, in case for those of you that don't know, that's just a re-release of Persona 5, which came out in 2017, and it's basically just an enhanced version with some it has really good additions, but it's like that's what it is. It's an addition to the base game. It's not like a sequel or anything like that.
Right, right, yeah. And I still haven't played it, and it's in my backlog of how many games does he have?
Yo, I think people would actually like call me a maniac if they saw the amount of games I had in my backlog. It's not good.
I feel you on that. Let me think. I think I might know what came out in May, but I have to double check this. No, okay, so I think May was just like devoid of any note of anything I know of that that was huge. Like I'm just trying to think of anything that happened, like of anything massive that I need to know about.
Was Avatar: The Last Airbender put when was that put on Netflix?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. You'd have to look that up.
Yeah. Let's see.
Like May had a lot of things happen. Like I'm looking through it right now, and May had but there wasn't anything, at least, that I want to touch upon right now with the pop culture wise that we've seen that we've seen happen, because May had a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I'm looking at all of this, and oh, here we go. Here's something that happened in May.
Okay.
We had and this is at the very end of May. Do you remember when SpaceX, people were hyped about it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was then. That's when that happened. That was May. That was the very end of May. We had the SpaceX mission.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, that's actually pretty big then. Yeah. That's a pretty.
That was the first privatized launch, as far as I know.
Oh yeah, that actually. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Here's one you'd be interested in. So in the middle of May, Michael Jordan's autographed Air Nike 1s trainers from 1985 sell at $560,000.
Wow. $560. That's
$560,000.
$560,000. That was, let's see. That was like a week of Michael Jordan's like wage when he played for the Bulls, probably. Like no joke. That was probably like
I love it. I love to think that just for being his shoes, they get their own paycheck.
Yeah, no, seriously, like that probably covered like a stay in like his house or something like that. Like that is pretty, but that is pretty incredible though, to think that like shoes that he wore from like 35 years ago, they're in good enough condition to be sold for that much money, and then that they're just like available, because like I'd imagine that anybody that has his shoes are probably like safeguard that shit like it's gold, like actual
oh yeah
gold. Like
oh yeah, I've seen people who collect like the Jordans and stuff.
oh, actually, you know what? Speaking of which, The Last Dance, the documentary about the Chicago Bulls, came out this year, and that's actually pretty huge. That was like one of the things that like really got people through the beginning of quarantine, because like I remember.
Wait, when did this? Hold on, I just thought of something, and I just you're talking about films and stuff. I just realized, when did this release?
What, Tiger King?
Yeah, I was just about to say Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger King. That was one thing I was gonna say too.
Yeah, that released in March. I thought that was May, but no, that released in March.
Yeah, did it release the same day as Animal Crossing?
I think. When did Animal Crossing come out?
Well, Tiger King came out on March 20th.
Right. Okay, let me look at this.
And let's see.
I got you right here. The release date for this was They came out on the same day. They legit came out on the same.
Wow. Animal Crossing and Tiger King came out.
Oh my god! So while the kids are playing Animal Crossing, the parents are watching Tiger King.
Yeah, I mean, I watched like the first episode of Tiger King, and it was pretty interesting. But like, yeah, Tiger King is very wild. Like, I can't. And to think of the like juxtaposition of Tiger King and Animal Crossing is just.
Oh my god! I love that so much. I remember when the world just like really fell in love with Tiger King, and for me, I'm just like, I could not be bothered. I could not be bothered to watch it.
Yeah, I like documentaries generally speaking, but like I don't know, something about Tiger King actually kind of put me off. Like I feel like I feel like a documentary about like a person who has like his own personal tiger zoo would draw me in, but it actually kind of just didn't really register with me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, I just couldn't. I tried getting into it. Like I think my parents watched it, and I just could not care.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
I kept looking at it. I'm like, why do people care about this? And I tried watching it. Like I gave it a chance, and I bailed out after the first episode.
Oh, same. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, after the first episode, I was like, yeah, this is interesting, but I'm not really gonna get into it.
I don't know. Like, it just seems so. I don't want to say expected. It was more like, yeah, I could see someone being crazy enough to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and that's not ripping on it or anything. It's just my taste was not anything I cared for.
Yeah, I know. Let's see.
Okay, actually, so I got you for June because there was quite a bit that happened in June. We had the release of one of the biggest games of the year, and essentially the game of the year, and one of the biggest Twitter shitstorms I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That was the release of Last of Us Part 2.
Oh boy, yeah.
So the game got leaked, I think, a week early or something. Like it got leaked. No, it was either a week or a month earlier. So that might have been the May news for video games. Like I think Last of Us Part 2 got leaked.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then like we had it come out, and people said they saw the script, people said they saw everything, and the internet lost its fucking mind. And keep in mind, usually Twitter things happen for like a week maybe.
Yeah.
But we had like a freaking month filled of nothing but this Last of Us 2 holy hell controversy.
Uh-huh.
I cannot believe how much of a fuck the internet gave over this game.
Mm.
And even most of it, like, if you played the game, you can just see it's the internet being the internet, but the fact that they took it so far as to attack like both the developers, the voice actress, everything, I'm just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like it's okay if you don't like the game, but don't go after the creators or anything like that. Like, because at the end of the day, it really is just like, not to get like all like fucking like a high couture or whatever fuck, but like, at the end of the day, video game just is like another form of art and media. So it's like what are you accomplishing by attacking the people who created it? It's not really doing anything. Like,
I really don't know what they were trying to go with there. Like, for me, it was a mess. That's what it was. That's the best way I can put it. It was a mess.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I'm really glad I'm not really like this is gonna sound, like, but I'm really glad I wasn't really invested into The Last of Us. And I'm not really that much. I have the game. I have part 1, but I'm not really that invested anyways. But like I'm really glad I'm not involved in that whole crossfire, because I just feel like being one of those people who was like on one side, defending like the game itself, and then like being on the other side, like constantly attacking it. That just has to be like so. Like
it is the epitome of the internet, and mostly Twitter. Let's be honest, it's mostly Twitter. Like that's the epitome of it.
Yeah, the most of the discourse I've seen on The Last of Us has mostly been on Twitter. I don't follow any like, I didn't really follow that many content creators on like YouTube or anything like that talked about it
Mhm.
that much. Funnily enough, um, yeah, most of the stuff I saw about The Last of Us was definitely on Twitter, and that just like that was enough for me. Like I every time every time I saw like any thread about The Last of Us, I just got sick of it after like two or three posts. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? I don't like I couldn't imagine being a person that's like constantly replying to like comments about The Last of Us or whatever. That's just so I could never imagine that.
Did that really happen this year? Okay, so I'm looking at something, and I want to see if this happened this year or last year.
Okay.
Do you remember? And the only reason is this technically counts as a pop culture thing. And we're not going to dig into this. I'm just going to preface it with that. But you know, you've seen Full House, so you should already know where I'm going with this.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. The Full House and the Lori Lohan.
I think it's Laughlin or something like I don't know.
Laughlin. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Aunt Becky. That's how I'm gonna go with it. Aunt Becky.
Okay.
That was this year. That was in May. That was this year. The college admission scandal.
Oh boy. Yeah, basically confirming what everyone else knew. Like, celebrities pay schools to accept
Oh
their
yeah.
kids.
Oh, 100%. This is not. This was more of a we proved it instead of more like we caught you.
Yeah, it's not like they caught the Zodiac killer or anything like that.
No.
They just like basically what they did is they unsurfaced like a transparent like rock. Essentially, like that's basically what happened.
Oh,
like,
no kidding. Like they just essentially shined a light on what was actually, already a problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, no, like don't get me wrong. Like I know it sounds like we're very apathetic to it, but the thing is that we already knew this. Like especially like without getting too deep into it, but like we already knew this, just generally speaking. So like just to see it is like okay.
Just through both of our experience already through college, we both know we have literally seen this happen.
Yeah, people being where they don't belong by merit is just not news to us. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it was nothing new. To me, I remember hearing it. I was like, huh, okay, not who I expected to do it, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can put it. But I believe her daughters got kicked out. I want to say
that's the thing. Like, I feel like that would be like the logical result, but I actually don't know if that happened or not.
I like I said, I didn't even follow up too much. I remember her whole thing was like she was huge on TikTok.
Oh yeah, her daughter was huge on TikTok. I remember that. Yeah.
And then it's like, I think the part that annoys me the most is that she got paid to be put in that school, and then she made a lot of her TikToks of just skipping classes, and then just like not even caring about it. And I'm just like, God fucking damn it. Like, and that's not to say college kids are not any better or aren't stupid and stuff, and don't skip class. Everyone's done it. That's not the point. It's just it adds more salt at the fact that you already aren't there because you deserve to be there, but the fact that you're just spreading, I guess, more dirt on that wound is just
it's really spitting on the face of people that didn't get into college by their own merit as well,
and are working their asses off trying to get in or consistently trying to stay in.
Absolutely, yeah. People that literally have to pay for their own college, literally themselves, working their way through it. Maybe skipping semesters to save up. It really is just obviously now that I'm thinking about it more in that perspective, it does make me a bit angrier. But at the same time, who's surprised? That's all I'm gonna say. And it's gonna keep on happening. Schools aren't just gonna magically be like, oh no, don't give us money. Don't give us money to just let in one student. Don't give us $100,000 just to have one student come in. Oh no, don't do that.
No. And it's just let's just move on from it. But yeah, that's what happened in May. There we go. That's what we had in May.
Oh yeah.
Or at least that's what are the reports I'm seeing. That's when they pleaded guilty. So I'm not entirely sure if that's when that happened or when they got busted, but that's when they pleaded guilty, and that's when we kind of got the wrap up on everything.
Yeah. Did we already talk about June?
Yeah, so we're in June right now with like The Last of Us.
Yeah,
And then there were a couple other things I think I saw during June as well. We had The Last of Us. What else did we have? I think there was something else, but I can't entirely remember in terms of like games and stuff. But yeah, that was the biggest Twitter shitstorm I believe I've ever seen. Was just The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And you know, there are a lot of Twitter shitstorms out there. But the fact that in terms of like the video games, that's what happened. So, you know, if we want to move on to August, I got something lined up for August.
Did we talk about July?
Or, you know, July. Yeah, I'm sorry. July.
You're good.
What was July?
Let's see. Well, there was an update. There was a summer update for Animal Crossing. That was a thing. Let's see. What else happened in July? If you have something, I'm just looking through. If you have something, you can say it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got the announcement. This is when it was announced. That QB was shutting down.
Yeah.
That's when we got the announcement that it was shutting down. Like that QB was literally like, and this was something that was okay. So it was founded in 2018.
Yeah.
Launched of April 6th, and then by July it was announcing that they were shutting down.
Literally a sort of dead in the water thing. Like it just like. I remember it was. I think it actually got a Super Bowl commercial, and I looked at it. Okay, that's
yeah.
Because
there was millions of dollars put into this.
Yeah, like I remember, and I also remember like one of the things that it's really important to look at like in their advertising was like the wording, and they loved talking about how like they were gonna like kill Netflix and stuff like that, and it was just really funny to me that they died 3 months after like they really even released. Like it's just interesting to me.
I don't know what the purpose of QB was though.
I think the purpose of it was like almost like the way I think of it is like QB advertised itself as like its whole thing was like quick bites, so like very like short form like entertainment. Almost think of it as like the TikTok or Vine of like TV in that sense. Like very short form entertainment that's not really meant to grasp your attention for too long. Just like content that's supposed to like grab your attention, but like it's not like a huge like the typical like 22-minute runtime for like a TV episode, let's say.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
I get the whole point. Like I remember I was seeing people talk about it. It was like I think one of the selling points was that it's like it would be something you had on like a bus ride or a car ride to a destination.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so here it is. It was basically every episode was supposed to be 10 minutes or less. That's what it was supposed to be. 10 minutes or less of content.
So YouTube.
Yeah, no, I mean essentially that's what it is. Like
so like, it was like you put it perfectly then. It was dead in the water. It was dead on arrival.
Like and to be completely honest, there's like I mean you could say this about really like any form of entertainment, but there's a lot of YouTube that's just genuinely more well produced than some of the stuff that was on QB. like
oh god. Ow.
Like I suggest you guys just check out some of the stuff that was on there because like it really does fulfill on its promise. Like I don't know how you could even like grab anybody's attention for more than 10 minutes, much much less 10 minutes like for this kind of stuff. It's really bizarre. So I mean if you even got to the 10-minute mark of any of these things, then
let's just let's recap QB real quick. I know we're recapping 2020, but let's recap QB. So it wants to be a streaming service, so it's already coming up against Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and then cable packages already with their own streaming stuff and on demand.
Yes.
And then on top of that, it wants its videos to be 10 minutes or less when YouTube is already right there and everyone's using that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's throw in TikTok for why not? Because everyone's on TikTok looking at very short videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Does not surprise me it failed. Does not surprise me in the slightest it failed.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Is like, um, Zach, would you say that you would ever be interested in like just like 10-minute episodes as opposed to like 22-minute episodes? Like, is that something that interests you? Like, does that feel like a
No.
need for you?
No,
Like,
because
right?
if I'm
Like,
watching an episode, I'm going to be sitting down to watch the episode.
exactly. Because like we've been saying this whole time, if you're just gonna be looking at something for 10 minutes, you might as well just look at a YouTube video. Like what? Like it boggles my mind, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm going to make a small cheat to our list, but
Okay.
it's something that has to be said.
Okay.
I feel like. So, speaking of failed products, we're gonna go back to 2019 only because this was when it was released, but it really didn't get any attention until 2020, and that's Google Stadia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, it was supposed to revolutionize gaming.
Yeah.
And it had people curious. I don't know if people were hyped. But it was curious. Like, people were curious because it was supposed to be the cloud gaming service that was supposed to change the way things. And that's not to say we could have an entire episode on Stadia in itself. And that's not to say that cloud gaming isn't coming. Stadia was just not the one to do it properly.
Oh, no. No.
Because, and the reason I count it for 2020 is this.
Okay.
So, it got released in 2019, and you know how when you pre-order something, you expected to get it on release date, right?
Right.
There were people who pre-ordered the dev kits and like the special packages and stuff, and didn't get it until 6 to 8 weeks after it was released.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross.
So they were getting it literally the next year.
Wow.
Some of the actual creators themselves did not get it till the next year.
How does that happen?
I don't know, but it is one of the worst video game launches I've ever seen. And and again, that's why I'm counting it for this year. And then the other controversy that followed Stadia is that there were a bunch of companies who realized that Stadia advertised itself saying that it had partnered with these companies those companies that saying that Stadia was going to support those companies when the companies had never even said that to them.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So it's like one of the biggest companies, Capcom, they were like, Capcom was one, like if you go back and look at the old announcement with like Matt Pat and like how he was hyping up Stadia, and then you look at the company list, dude, if you look at the company list, Capcom, and then there were a bunch of other teams on there that were like, hold on, what are you talking about? We never said this. They said, like, I would have to look at it, but if I remember from the interview, they said we had discussions with Google of potentially putting games on there, but they had never promised to do it. And so that was in like March through like, and then there's just been more and more stuff about Stadia going wrong throughout the year. So that's why I counted as part of 2020.
No, I think that's fair, to be honest with you. Like I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, Stadia just did not appeal to me at all. Just even before like all this stuff, like I just thought to myself, I don't need this, to be honest with you.
Right, and I get that. Like there is nothing for me that was like we had to change. Like, I had to get Stadia. That was one thing. And then on top of that, it's just like the more problems it had, the less I wanted to get it. But anyway, we're beating a dead horse there. Let's continue. So that was July. That was when like QB shut down. So then we had August. And boy, do I know what took over August.
Hit me with it.
A small game known as Fall Guys.
Oh boy, yep.
August 20th was when that released. So that is honestly it is a humbling game. Because they said, look, if anyone develops this for us or like gives us the money to make this game, we will put it on your platform. Sony liked the idea, said, okay, we'll take you up on the offer, and lo and behold, Among Us is an exclusive to Sony console. Or not Among Us, not Among Us, Fall Guys.
Yeah.
However, following that same month into early September, Among Us, and that's why I'm getting the two mixed up. Among Us swooped in like 2-3 weeks later and stole the spotlight from Fall Guys.
Very unfortunate, but very deserving in my opinion as well. Among Us definitely deserved the hype.
I think Among Us also had the same situation as Animal Crossing, in that it just had a perfect storm of events.
Yeah.
So here was this small indie game that had recently hit Steam, because it was originally a mobile game that went to Steam. It was very cheap. It's a $5 game on Steam, free on mobile, and they played it, and it allowed you to play with your friends and interact with people.
Yeah. Oh, actually, just as a quick thing, if we're still talking about August, that's also when the Henry Stickmin collection also went onto Steam as well, I think.
Right. So because that's when because it's the same developers for both games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what made me think of that. So yeah.
Yeah. So they both got put onto Steam, and everyone fell in love with those games.
Yeah. Us included, by the way. We play Among Us basically every week.
oh yeah, hands down. Like, Among Us is a fun game for how simple it really is. It's a fun game.
Yeah, funny enough, without getting too personal, we've also like played some other game modes that are outside the bounds of what the game actually intended to be, which I think is really interesting as well. And to add on to that, they're also adding a new map as well next year, which is really interesting.
I'm excited for that map.
Absolutely,
but, yeah. Besides that, like, looking at it, there was just so much that was brought through with it, and it's like Among Us really took over everyone again with like, and Fall Guys was a great game and people were enjoying it. I think what killed it though, or what allowed Among Us to thrive, was they were both indie games, but Fall Guys was a $20 game.
Yeah.
While Among Us was $5 or free on mobile that had crossplay. No brainer. No brainer right there.
Like the crossplay and being able to play on mobile definitely was a big boost as well. Like that was definitely a huge thing as well. Because like Among Us being $5, well, that is very important as well to keep in mind. It was just $5 as well. Being able to play it on the go and still be able to play for friends on PC is a huge thing to be able to do.
Oh yeah, and and the fact that like it's now on Switch too, so that's another great thing.
Oh yeah, I think it's also coming to Xbox as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I would believe that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation was the last one to get it, just because that's how PlayStation is. But
yeah,
the fact of like it was just a perfect storm of events. It really was. So then, what happened? Like, that was essentially what took over August and September, and arguably Among Us is still really huge.
Oh no, I definitely agree. Yeah, I definitely think Among Us is still very like relevant right now as well.
And then what else did we have released this year? Let's see, what came out? What did we get? What did we get in October? That was where we need to now go. Like, in terms of pop culture and anything, what happened?
Oh, Mario 35. That was a huge thing.
Right, October. There we go. Okay, so that's what hit us, because Mario 35 came out, and once again the world fell in love with Mario, because that was the anniversary of Mario. And like, I know they had a huge spectacle planned for it, but as soon as Mario 3D All-Stars came out, like, that hit mainstream news again too.
Yeah,
because it was a limited release, and then we had Super Mario 35 along with it, and like, suddenly people were wanting Mario all over again, and that was the part. And I picked it up. I bought into the hype because I really wanted it. That's 3 huge full Mario games For $60, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, and so there was that. There was the Battle Royale game, which was Super Mario Bros. 35, which is
Yeah.
the Battle Royale game. And then they also announced the 3D World plus Bowser's something. I forgot what it was. To be
Oh
honest
yeah,
with you.
Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury and
Yes,
the
yes, Bowser's Fury. Yeah, yeah, that was also announced as well.
So yeah, we had all of that.
Yeah, and that's not even everything that happened. I think also Crash Bandicoot also released in October as well.
Right, we had Crash 4, a series we thought was like done for, but you know, with the Insane Trilogy revival, we had Crash 4 come back, and it was just the month of platformers.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, to me, that was insane.
Yeah, seriously. I'm looking at it as well. Okay, the Crown Tundra also came out in October as well. That's the DLC
Right, yeah,
for
Nintendo essentially won October.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. No disagreements about that.
You know what? I got something for you.
Okay.
So going back to September just a little bit, because it officially released in September, but took over in October. Phasmophobia also.
Yes, I keep on hearing about that, but I've actually never seen gameplay of Phasmophobia. Do you have any context for that, Zach?
So Phasmophobia, for those who don't know, it is a co-op game of you and your friends essentially being paranormal investigators. You go into these haunted houses and try and figure out what exactly is haunting the house, and then you have to get certain objectives done to like for your research to be completed.
Yeah.
You don't kill the ghost, you don't hurt it, you don't catch it, you're just trying to investigate it, and you can still die. And the thing is, I think one of the biggest things about it is that it has the proximity chat. So like the closer you are to someone, the more you can hear. The more you can hear them, or the farther away you are, the less you hear them.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's also a big thing that also was not. It's a mod, but I think there was also like a proximity chat thing for Among Us as well.
Yeah, that's where they got it from.
Yeah, which is really interesting to me. I wonder if they'll actually like officially implement that later on as like a like thing they can do, but that's just speculation at that point.
We'll see, because the whole point of Among Us is that you're quiet, so I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true.
But so that's essentially what we had this entire time. And then so going into November, what do we have for November?
I'm trying to look. We actually have a full like thing pulled up.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Let's see. Actually, oh, Hyrule Warriors came out. That was pretty huge.
There we go. And okay, so Nintendo essentially won 2020. Let's just put it out there.
Okay, let me just be honest here. I think like I've said it before, but Animal Crossing alone won Nintendo this year. To be honest with you, everything else, in my opinion, was a very sweet add-on. Because like,
wait, you know what? I know what we did forget. Okay, because I will say, you know what? I take it back to an extent. I take it back to an extent. Nintendo won the year, maybe, but it slugged it out with PlayStation, because I realized July Ghost of Tsushima came out, and that has still been. Oh yeah. That was also like Nintendo only had one Game of the Year nominated, and then they had so much more. Like PlayStation had 3, and then we had one indie game. Which, shout out to that indie game. Let me see when that released.
Hades, right?
Hades, yeah. That came out in September too, and then that really blew up in October.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so essentially we had all of that. So
yeah, oddly enough, this was a very good year for gaming overall, I would say.
Oh yeah, and you know, I think it's just a matter of perfect timing. But you know, I know we keep going back on things, guys. Like, apologies, but it's like it's hard to remember everything.
I mean, to be honest, that's really like I think I said this at the beginning of the podcast. Like, that's really just the theme of this year. Like, just trying to put everything together and really understanding it. It's going to be a constant thing for us, to be honest.
Yeah.
If we're still, as long as we're still in November, I mean, the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series X was huge.
Right, and the whole Walmart mislaunch, and then the scalping we're going through, and like how it's such a limited release, and now people are really demanding that bots be taken down. It's
Yeah, I
amazing
mean,
to me.
I've always been a huge opponent of bots, just buying everything
Oh
and
yeah.
scalpers and shit like that. That's just I hate that so much, to be
Hmm.
honest with you. In terms of actual games, Miles Morales coming out on the PS5, that was pretty huge as well.
Right.
Which I want to play that, but you know, I
Yeah,
don't know when I'll
we
get to
still got
that.
massive backlogs. But anyway,
Oh
point
yeah.
being is it's like I would say Nintendo and Sony won 2020. Because it also
Mhm.
depends on like for you on like what games you play.
Absolutely, yeah, because PS4 obviously had Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and then Last of Us
Last of
Part 2.
Us.
So
Yeah.
those three alone are very big as well.
Yeah. And then we also had Fall Guys to add into that. Because
Oh
that
yeah.
was PlayStation console exclusive also on PC.
Yeah, which is really interesting to me because I mostly saw Fall Guys on PC as well. That's where I most of the exposure, to be
Right,
honest with
right. And
you.
I think it's just like people didn't want to either get a PS4 or get it for PS4 because that requires you to have PS4 online and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So for me it's like I think that's just I think that's where we had it go. And then I think for in terms of anything else cuz I would like to say movies, but we had such a lack of movies this year.
I think people are still watching Tenet. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
still a
you're
thing.
not even joking. Like I just saw an ad for that today as of the time of this recording.
Like people are still talking about Tenet, and any other normal year, Tenet would probably be like just people in the back of people's minds. Um, for the just quickly, I guess. Soul was really huge. That came out literally, I
Right,
think
that
this
just
week.
came out. I
Yeah.
think the two biggest animated movies that I saw this year, which I gave no attention to. I want to see
Mhm.
Soul, but I don't want to risk going to theaters for that.
Oh
But the
no, I mean
two
it's on
biggest,
Disney Plus.
yeah, that's fair. I could watch it there, but I think the two biggest we now see
Hmm.
are that I've seen at least that were commercialized were Trolls 2
Yeah.
and Scoob.
Oh, Scoob, that did come out this year. I forgot about that.
Because that was near the beginning of the pandemic when that came out.
Hmm. God, this is gonna sound very morbid, but could you imagine getting coronavirus from going to see Scoob?
Oh
Just
gosh, that
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 would be
would, oh
awful.
boy, yeah boy. But that's what, like, that's why there's not much in terms of movies that I can think of.
No.
I think I went to go see the My Hero movie before the pandemic hit. I'm pretty sure that was this year.
Yeah, that was this year. You're right. It came
Yeah.
out over here this year.
For the anime fans of My Hero Academia, the second movie came out this year.
Uh-huh.
So let that sink in. It was
Very good
almost
movie, by the
literally
way.
a year ago. It was almost literally a year ago. But no, we're still in 2020, guys. We're still in 2020.
Yeah.
And so that's just what it is at this point. And so we have November done, and then we have December, which we're wrapping up right now. And let's just get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what happened in December. The myth, the meme, Cyberpunk 2020. That game got delayed throughout all of 2020. All of it. It was originally supposed to be released in April. Let that sink in for a moment. Originally
God.
supposed to be released in April.
God, man.
And then it was pushed back to May. And then it was pushed back to like September, I think, or October. And then November, and then finally December. And it still
Yep.
failed. It failed miserably.
Yep.
The
Got
game
taken
is
down.
off of everything.
Yeah.
It's not on any of the stores now. That's the part that blows my mind of how much of a failure Cyberpunk 2077 was. 2077, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh man. I just that I think that also just in terms of gaming, that was another elephant in the room, to be honest with you. Like there was no getting around that, to be honest with you.
No.
It it's just, oh my gosh.
It was there. I will tell you this: Mario helped me dodge a bullet. Mario helped me dodge a bullet because
Yeah.
I was going to pre-order Cyberpunk 2077, and then Mario 3D All Stars got announced and released, and I pre-ordered that so fast, and I was like, I'm either getting 3D All Stars or Cyberpunk 2077. I was not getting both. And lo and behold, you guys have seen me streaming it. I got 3D All Stars.
Yeah. I think I don't know for you, but personally for me, apart from Among Us coming out on Switch and Cyberpunk, there wasn't really that much notable in the way of games in December, to be honest with you, unless I'm missing something.
I think for me, it's just, I think it's funny to me that I essentially bought all 3 games on PlayStation that were nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, you have a good taste, to be honest.
I guess so. I think for me, it was just incredible that I had, like, I started the year with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which personally to me is still the best game out of all of them that were picked. That's not to say Last of Us Part 2 isn't great or anything. It's just I personally felt Final Fantasy VII Remake was much better.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I know how you feel about The Last of Us. Yeah.
And and then I got Ghost of Tsushima. I played through Ghost of Tsushima with my community there with the champions, and it was just, it was amazing. Like, it was a great game. I can see why it was nominated. The soundtrack was beautiful. The story was incredible.
The art was beautiful. Like, that to me was the most
like people didn't even play the game. They were just having fun using the photo op mode on Twitter, and I saw that.
Let me just say, I would say the funnest part about being in Zak's streams for Ghost of Tsushima was definitely when he went into the hot springs. That was the most entertaining part of it.
The cheeks of Jin.
Because you guys don't know, every time he goes to the hot springs, obviously Jin takes off his clothes, and you actually see full ass, a full moon every time. So it's pretty. That's the funnest part of the stream for me personally. But,
it's so funny because we'll just have the next 5 minutes of nothing but just making jokes about his cheeks.
Yeah.
And but point being is, it's like, that was 2020, and as much as that is what we recorded for pop culture.
Yeah.
So it's been one hell of a year. Hopefully COVID gets under control sometime next year. We don't know. But it's been one hell of a ride. And to wrap it up in a more wholesome note, what we also had was the start of this podcast.
Yes, excellent.
We had the start of this podcast, and we thank you guys so much for being here with us through this weird, unpredictable, unscheduled year.
Absolutely. Oh boy, I mean, funnily enough, if there's anything that really unites us in the podcast in 2020, it's the fact of this whole year just being out of orbit and just not being very predictable at all. So it's been, like you said, it's been one hell of a ride, but truthfully speaking, I want to get the fuck off of it, to be honest.
Yeah, let's get out of 2020. Let's get out of 2020 and see what the future has to hold for us.
Absolutely.
But what we will keep saying, though, and we will give credit to this, like, we started the podcast. You and I essentially both started streaming this year, and we're now on our way, I say, to growing more. And we hope you guys will stick around as the podcast continues to grow, as we continue to grow with streaming. We hope you guys will stick through all of that, because that's what we honestly would like to ask for of you guys. And we appreciate so much how much you've stuck around now. So
no, seriously, thank you guys so much. I mean,
oh yeah, here's to another year.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to, going forward with the podcast, and which should hopefully be an enlightening year. And even if it's not, I'm glad to have the podcast to fall back on. So yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it, guys. We hope you guys come back again, and you will definitely hear from us in the future. Thank you guys so much for being around here. And our next episode will be, who knows? It's unscheduled. Catch you guys next year. Have a good one, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.